Hello guys, welcome to AWS Lambda tutorial. So in this video I'm going to show you how we can deploy Spring Boot Java application into a AWS Lambda function. So for that I have created a Lambda function in Spring Boot using Java. So first let me explain you what does this application do. Basically this application is a simple employee service in which we can do a CRUD operation on employee data. So in this project I have a controller, entity, repository and a service layer, and this is my application. And here I have a stream Lambda handler which will handle all the requests coming to this Lambda function, and internally it will execute this application class, this one. And here inside my controller I have an employee controller. So in employee controller I have a 4 endpoints. One is for saving employee, next is for getting all the employee data, and third one is getting employee by ID, and the fourth one is deleting the employee. And these are my 4 endpoints. And for that I have created a service class which is employee service and annotated this with the @service. And here I have injected the employee repository which is inside this repo package. Here inside the employee repository class I have created a simple list to hold all the employee data. I have one method for saving the employee, and next for finding all the employee, and third one find employee by ID, and the fourth one is delete employee by ID. And these are my methods, and I have injected this repository inside a employee service class. And in employee service we have a 4 method for doing this CRUD operation. One is for saving the employee, getting all the employees, getting employee by ID, and deleting the employee by ID. And these are all my services, and this services is injected inside my controller class here, right here. And this is how my application works. And this is all about application. And inside here let me show you my pom.xml file. And inside my pom.xml file I have injected a dependency for AWS serverless for Lambda with Spring Boot 3, and these are my dependencies that I have injected here, and also have a Lombok. And now let us go into template.yml file, and this is the template.yml file for all the Lambda configuration, and this is how I configure everything here. So this is all about my project, and now let us build this project so that we can deploy it on the AWS Lambda. Now for that I am using Maven build tool mbn clean package, and let's run this command so that we can build everything to deploy on the AWS Lambda. So my build is success now, and if we go inside the target folder then we can find this .zip file. So everything is into this zip file. Now we can deploy this zip file in a AWS Lambda function. Now let's go back into our AWS console and then create a Lambda function to deploy this application. So now here I am logged into my AWS account, and from here we can go into this Lambda services. So let's click into this, and currently I don't have any Lambda function inside my AWS console. Now we have to create one to deploy this application. Now so here we have in the get start section we have a create a function button. So we have to click on this create a function button, and then select the first options, that is author from scratch. We are creating a Lambda function from scratch, and let us give the name for the Lambda functions. I'll give employee service, and then our runtime will be Java 17. I am using Java 17 for my project, and then leave everything as default, and then create on this create function button. So it will take us some minute to create this function, so let us wait until the function got created. So finally the function is got created, employee service, and now let us see on the code. And then now we have to make one little changes on this runtime setting section. So let's go into here and click on this edit button and edit this configuration. And for this handler we have to make changes. So the handler that we are using in our application, so the handler in my application is this stream lambda handler class, and we have to provide this class with the fully qualified name including the package as well. So I am copying this class name, and let us go here, and then my package is com.vista, and then the class name is stream lambda handler, and we have to leave everything as it is. And then we can go ahead and save these changes. Now my changes is reflected right here, so now everything looks good. On the code section we have to go into the upload, and we have to upload the zip file that got created during our build. So I'll go and upload this code, this lambda zip file here. Now our code is uploaded. So now to test this application, either we can go on to the test and then do the testing from here, but for now I will go ahead and create a one API gateway through which we can trigger this lambda function. So I am gonna create a one API gateway. So let us duplicate this page, and then from here I'll go into the services and then API gateway. So inside API gateway I don't have any APIs gateway here, so I'll create one for my lambda function. So let's go into this REST API. So we are invoking a lambda function using this API gateway, so that we have to create a REST API, and then just click on this build button, and here I am creating a new API, and I have to give a name to this API. Let's give employee service, and then you can give a description, but it is optional, so I don't do that. So I'll directly click on this create API button, and now our API got created. Now again we have to create a resources here, so let's create on the create resource button, and then here we have to give this proxy plus and then let us create the resource. Now our resource has been created. Now we have to create a method to invoke our lambda functions. So let us go into this create method section and then select method. Now I'll select any, because we have all kind of method in our services. There is a get method, post method, delete method. So for that I have to select any kind of method, and then just select the lambda proxy, because we are invoking our lambda function through this API gateway. So select the lambda proxy, and then this is our region, and then select a lambda functions that we have created previously. I'm selecting my lambda functions, and then let us create a method. Now our method got created right here, and now we have to deploy this API gateway. So to deploy this API gateway we have to click on this deploy API. So For stage, I'll give a new stage and then name for this stage. Let's give test stage and then deploy it. Now we have successfully deployed our API gateway, and here is our URL to invoke this API gateway. So I'll copy this URL, say employee. Now we are getting this empty array because currently we don't have any data on our employee list. So let us add some more data using postman. So here what I do is I will paste the URL right here, and then this slash employee, and then let's post some data birdie, and then let us say ID 101, first name, last name, email and phone number. And if we send this, so we got this response. That means our data is saved in the list. Now again, let me send other data. Let me give last name Bista at yahoo.com and then send this. Now our second data is also posted, and let me add one more data, Bista as Bista, and then send it. Now our third data is also posted. Now so let us try to get all this data using a get method. So here is our data, we got everything, and then let us get this data using ID. Suppose employee ID 101. Now we got the employee ID 101, and if we do 102, then we got a 102. But if we let's try 105, and the status is okay, but it doesn't return anything, it return null, so nothing went wrong. So let us try to delete the employee ID 102 and send it. The employee got deleted, we got the employee deleted message, and let us try to get all this employee and check if the data is deleted or not. Yes, and we got two data here. So this is how we can deploy our Spring Boot Java application into AWS Lambda. So if you have any question or comment, please don't hesitate to write down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching.